FCC investments are part of the work we're doing worldwide through the Partnership for Global Infrastructure and Investment. I propose this initiative together with the rest of the G7 to help fill the need for quality, high-standard infrastructure in Africa and in low-income and middle-income countries around the world. At the G7 meeting earlier this year, we announced our intention to collectively mobilize $600 billion in the next 5 years. Today's announcement.
Welcome back. The announcement is already made with the commissioning is now. 1 Corinthians 9:22. Probably we are sorry for stressing the 9-year straight at this very 2022 on these impersonations that were going around town, probably on that. But the one called and agreed that by February 6, 2023, the 9 years should commence. So I'm well reminded by the first core message, Corinthians 9 is 2022. So the week became I as week, and that I might gain the week. I am made all things to all men, that I might by all men save some. This is the voice of the apostle and intention and the will of God for chastening and reproving the federal government. This week, Jeremiah 52, verse 1, still yet introducing himself. Talked about something 11, that is to say, the World Trade Center, the Royal Tower, about requesting for those things that are carried out on the 27th day, and that was Tuesday of 2022, that it can then digest them. But still, we have more vision of encouragement that a $55 billion plus of the states, 12 states of South Africa dissolved again, redissolved. The monetary currency where Ramaphosa might be on it, and we'll go spend it right here on the mainland and around the continent and around the world. Make all the bills that have there to be 67 billion. I think first is to assure and resume a specific 167 million African pound, a time budget. Remember that is billion, and this I'm talking about is a million. It's a million. The A8 or the A1 rather shall be those whom are the first members to visit the Microsoft Global Gateway at First General Hospital, Peace and Joy, Holy Miracle Knowledge Institution. It's a very strong fundamental institution with a very so much long name. Now led by I and the Earth Institution of Peace and Security, all United Nations Organization, institution and control center of any of the installed local government or installed in any of the local government, its establishment, or whether it's up to 4 or 5, like that of Lagos, the S5, the Lutz, and so many other that were installed here. It said here, any municipal shall be controlled by the UN or the Earth government, even as a state by its king. So therefore, I have other intentions this beautiful 28th day of Embers, which is Wednesday. You know, it's between UK and mainland. So therefore, I will like to handle this since the von Leyen resignation. I could not help standardize Europe, better than that to reflect you to my partner can charge toward from the root. I am going to handle all that. We have a peace movement, which is unity and solidarity, and organizations of green hearts to standardize our currency as a continent, both and of all kind, by involving the kings of America and of Europe, and I here representing Africa as an emperor or the head of royalty to give a start this Friday, 30th 12, 2022. I shall then be looking into the Beirut, Lebanon twin head of states, its member as Africa, and its Rubens, the open bracket, the loyal military officers whom visited them that I chose where I found them by its golden temple built by Solomon. Today, Psalm 119, verse 160. Not yet a 911 call to any, but we are saying enough. A content person, a patient person, granted 350 billion, where I added about 16 billion to increase it to probably 366 billion for a whole time budget, which is of the Global Gateway and Microsoft and all other windows of opportunity around that. The word is true from the beginning, and every one of thy righteousness judgment endureth forever. And in hell he lifted up his eyes, being in a torment, and said, Abraham far off, and Lazarus in his bosom. And he cried and said, Our father Abraham, have mercy on me, and send Lazarus, that he might dip the tip of his finger in water and cool my tongue, for I am tormented in this flame. Before von der Leyen resigned, we have a majority of issues about Dublin and Irish, and which I handled them by Southern Water Corporation at Palace Local Government Boy, where praises of the Lord came in and transited the states. Water is very important, and that's what that is saying right there. Not more than that. We then will be looking into to comfort you with one or two words. These innocent children who died in Christ's behalf for the first martyr of Christ suffering, persecution, and martyrdom are the lots of all who chose to follow Jesus Christ, as in the Hatton police stations here, loot, as it transits itself gradually in killing and arresting those tyrants, speaking as demons here and there, procrastinations. The word demon alone in this service beat us to know where they're going. They might like to fuel their mission continuously, they will be dried under the sun. There is no crown without the cross. That's good to the traditionalists around the world. If you are a king, let's see you with the cross. The cross is not just a positive sign, but a sign of persecution and sword against the enemies of state. I might not be able to take you longer than that, but I'm very glad that you heard it all, and we will continue to make it work. Listen again.
These MCC investments are part of the work we're doing worldwide through the Partnership for Global Infrastructure and Investment. I propose this initiative together with the rest of the G7 to help fill the need for quality, high-standard infrastructure in Africa and in low-income and middle-income countries around the world. At the G7 meeting earlier this year, we announced our intention to collectively mobilize $600 billion in the next 5 years. Today's announcement.
On today's year, I want you to keep God in the first place. I disbursed the salaries for January, and this makes us to go to the constitution around the world that we're not enslaved in what we've drafted. Constitution for 2023 at commence in spending. Happy New Year in advance.